Welcome to episode number, I don't know, of the Fearless Investing Podcast. One of these days, I'm going to start tracking these dates, but hey, until then, it's just going to be head down, keep going.
Let's go. What's up, you guys? Come on in the room. We are super excited to have you. Today, we have a very special guest. We have one of our friends, Mr. Chris Logan. We've actually had him before on a training session, but today we're going to dig deep into his fears. What happened, what started him on his journey, what did he have to overcome to get to where he is today. So I'm super excited. I want you guys to come on in the room, drop exactly where you're from, let me know who's in the room. As always, have your questions, get your questions out. It's not just us talking to Chris. I want you guys to talk to him as well. All right, so let's get into it without further ado.
Are you going to even say what's your name and who you are?
If you don't know who I am Ashley Denmark. This is my handsome husband, Antonio Denmark, and we are the Denmarks. That was your part at the beginning, That was your part.
Was my part?
Yes. That was your part. Come on in the room. Let's go. Chris, how are you today?
What's going on, guys? Doing good. I got to say here, first of all, thanks for having me here. I'm really looking forward to being here with y'all today and talking to your amazing community. But I got to let you know, first of all, I got super pumped up listening to that. I felt like I was like on the scene of Gladiator, like with that motivation music you guys got coming. And then just hearing your guys banter back and forth, I'm ready to go. You guys are
Let's go. We're super excited that you're here. Welcome to the Fearless Investing Podcast. Let me ask you this question. For the people who don't know who Chris Logan is, tell us real quickly, who's Chris Logan?
Yeah, for sure. So like Ashley said, my name's Chris Logan. I've been wholesaling houses for the last 14 years. And over my time in this business, I've learned a lot of things that have helped us grow our business to just an awesome level that's been giving us the time and freedom to be able to live life on our terms and really kind of do what we want, right? Like I started this business 14 years ago. We left our corporate jobs after just 3 years of wholesaling houses. And if I knew what I knew now, I could have probably done it a lot faster. But fast forward, we started out local, grew our business to virtual. So we no longer talk with sellers in person or meet buyers in person. We can run this business from home and do deals from home anywhere in the country. And then 2 years before COVID, we did make that switch to virtual. We put a team in place and grew our business to over 7 figures. And now what we're really passionate about is showing new wholesalers how to land their first deal, even if they have a full-time job and zero experience through our company, Virtual Wholesaling Made Simple.
Absolutely. Let's go.
All right, so I got a question. So
what's your question?
Yeah. My question are always going to be left field, and they ain't going to never go with no flow, all right? Ashley is the flow. I'm just going to go. 14 years is a long time. We've been in real estate around that same time period, and honestly, most of the wholesalers that came in we've seen over the years, they come and they go. What's been your secret to being in business 14 years?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I've seen a lot of the same things. A lot of people who I knew when I first got started are no longer in the business anymore. So I hear you on that. So the biggest thing for us is keeping things simple and focusing on what works. I feel like a lot of people, when they first get started, they get some traction and then maybe the wheels fall off the wagon because a marketing channel stops working for them, or they see another strategy, they kind of jump to that strategy. And so they're kind of all over the place. And then when there goes through a season where business is slow, it's hard for them to recover from that. So for us, what we've done is we've specifically and solely focused on finding distressed deals through wholesaling. That's been our primary channel. That's been our primary income source that got us out of corporate America. And we've been doing it ever since. So the biggest thing as far as success for our journey is paying attention to what works and not just jumping to different things because we think they're going to do better. For example, cold calling has been the #1 marketing channel that we've had through our entire journey. It's been the most consistent. We've done everything. We've done direct mail. We've done texting, done PPC, PPL, any other PPs out there. We've probably done them, and and nothing has matched the cost per lead, the return on investment, and the consistency of cold calling. I started out doing it myself, and then eventually we put a team in place to where they're making the calls for us and they bring us leads. And by far, it's been the most consistent channel for us.
Oh, I love that. I love that. What were you doing before wholesaling?
Yeah. So before I got into wholesaling, I was working for a marketing agency in corporate America, and I was going door to door with small to medium size local businesses, seeing if they wanted to get set up with marketing, looking at their plans, and basically seeing how we can get more customers through the door. Right. So it was a lot of pounding the pavement. It was cold calling. It was pretty much getting referrals, all that stuff. And that was one of the reasons we naturally kind of segued into cold calling, because I was having a hard time in my real estate business at one point. We were doing direct mail and it was working good. And then all of a sudden, like, it just wasn't working as well. We weren't getting that high of a return on investment. And so I said, we need to look at, like, what have I done to bring in leads throughout all my jobs? My first job was in a call center. Like, what have I done to bring in leads for past jobs and opportunities? Cold calling. So why not try that? So we did it. I started doing it myself, landed the first couple of deals. And then once we did that, we paused everything else and then put a team in place to have them bring us leads.
Mm-hmm.
But
all right. So
marketing.
We believe in value. We believe in giving. What's the secret to cold calling? Because I got a couple people in my circle.
I hate cold calling, by the way.
I wasn't going to say your name. You said your own name.
He's like, I know somebody. I'm not going to mention any names.
I wasn't going to say it. But what's the secret to cold calling, bro?
Please tell me.
Yeah. So really what it is it's being focused and being consistent, right? So many people think that they need confidence before they pick up the phone. But the reality is confidence comes from picking up the phone. It's from making calls consistently every single day, completely detaching yourself from the outcome and just focusing on putting in the reps. So many people want a six-pack and they expect to get that from just going to the gym one time, right? Ain't going to happen. Cold calling works the same way, right? You're not going to get on the phone the first time and master it the first time and then everything's going to be good, right? You have to consistently put in the time, energy, and effort daily. And if you do it enough, that effort compounds. And before you know it, you're getting good at it. And then once you get good at it, it starts being fun. And then after it becomes fun, that's when you start really excelling and getting the results that you're looking for. So really, it comes down to putting in the reps.
Listen.
Put in the reps.
You're right, Chris. When you write, you're right. when I was that person, I wanted confidence. I did. I said, this is not for me. I could do. Let me send some emails.
Yeah. Well, most people I find have one of two fears that cause them to not want to cold call, right? And the first fear is a fear of success, believe it or not, right? So they're calling sellers and they're like, oh my gosh, like, what if the seller says yes? I don't know what to do next, right? And so that stops them from cold calling. Mm-hmm. Then I have other people who have a fear of failure, where it's like, shoot, what if I pick up the phone and I say the wrong thing? And then the person hangs up on me and then I mess up and then I can't get the strength to like do it again, right? So once you kind of dig into the reason why you're kind of holding back from cold calling, it becomes really, it becomes a lot easier to solve that problem and move forward with confidence. Because at the end of the day, like I mentioned before, like, you don't start confident, you have to take action, and confidence comes from getting better and better.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. Tell me this, what were some of the fears that you had early on when you first started?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things for me was getting in my own way when I first started, like overthinking everything, right? Mm-hmm. Putting my own perception on what could happen without really even giving my chance to go through that experience and seeing what could happen from that. Right. So for example, when we first got started, we used bandit signs to attract sellers. Like we put those out, and for anybody listening who doesn't know what that is, it's the plastic sign that you put out on the side of the road that you risk your life and lightning storms and traffic and all that to put out just to get people to call. Yeah. So I used to think, I was like, who in the world is going to call and sell the most valuable thing they own on a piece of a plastic sign that's written like sketchy, we buy houses? Like no one's going to call that. No. But then we got like a ton of calls and did deals for them. I'm like, holy moly. So that was one of my biggest things there. And then outside of that, it was just feeling like I needed to have things perfect before I could start, right? Like I need to have the perfect script. I need to make sure that, I know enough about this so I can answer all their questions and not have to, stumble through the call or anything like that. But then what I realized is that sellers don't want to talk to a fake expert. They want to speak with a genuine beginner. Like they don't care if you don't know something, right? All they care is that you could find the answer if they needed it. And that's why, I share with people, if they ever get asked the question they don't know, then the best thing you can do is say, you know what, that's a great question. My partner typically handles that. Let me talk with them and I'll get back with you. Boom. So you're mentioning the roof was 15 years old. Do you have any leaks in the roof? Boom. Go right back into the conversation.
I like it. All right. I'll script that again. Are you married, Chris?
Yes.
All right. You got to take me back. When you went and told your wife that you was doing full-time entrepreneurship, what did she say?
So my wife and I were dating when we went to our first real estate event. So we actually started wholesaling together. So we started our journey together. So she was all for it, and she actually left her job before I left mine. So we started this business together, and she was all for it. We both were working crazy hours in corporate America, 60, 80 hours a week in high pressure jobs. And we just knew that there was something more for us on the other side, right? We didn't want to spend our life working in a cubicle until we're like 60. And we just wanted to live life on our terms. And so the way that we found the most connection with when we first got started was wholesaling. Because I remember we went to this real estate seminar. Robert Kiyosaki's team put it on. I thought he was going to be there. He wasn't. And
we all did.
Yeah. So they put all these different strategies on the board and ways to get started in real estate in the third day. And they went through all these different ways. The way that I really connected with was wholesaling, because at the time I didn't have a lot of money. Like my credit wasn't really the best. I was kind of bouncing back from my own setback. And when they basically said you could take a piece of paper, you could flip it and make tens of thousands of dollars, didn't need a rich uncle, big bank account or anything like that. And I was like, man, that's exactly where I'm at. So that's what we did. We went all in with it. And I'd love to say like our first deal came immediately, but it didn't. It took me 6 months to land my first deal. And after that, we were all in. And that deal, even though it took us 6 months and it only made us $4,000, that was all the proof that we needed that this business works. Because that's something that I share with a lot of people is that, the amount you make on your first deal, it does not matter. It could be $1,000, it could be 2,000, it could be 3,000, it could be 20,000. Doesn't matter, right? Your first deal is proof that you're the type of person who can succeed in this business and close deals. And that's all that matters. That lays a very important foundation for everything that's going to come after that.
I'm gonna cut this part up and send it to my people.
1,000%. 1,000%. All right, 6 months can seem like a very long time to do the things that you're supposed to do consistently without winning. What made you hold on? Like, why didn't you quit? What was the thing?
I knew that I was meant to be in real estate. Like my dad and my grandfather did a real estate deal when I was a kid, and I didn't find that out until I actually invested and got a coach and stuff like that. And my mom told me. But I just think it's fascinating how these things are kind of seeded in like childhood and you don't realize it. But what made me keep going was because I knew I was supposed to be successful at this. My parents went through a foreclosure when I was at a young age, and I've been through that. Like, I know what that's like. And outside of money, I really wanted to help people in a way that would allow me to impact somebody's life, but also make a great income and provide for my family as well. And so I kind of had a personal connection to that outcome. And I was always told that the biggest way to build wealth is through real estate. And so I just knew that if I stuck at it long enough, regardless of the obstacles that I went through, regardless of how many times I got bumped and bruised and scraped and knocked down, if I just kept getting up, like, it's a law of averages, you know what I mean? Like, I got to make it at some point, you know? And so that's what caused me to do that. And the desire to provide a different life for my family. But there is a reason that it took 6 months. So the reason it took 6 months was because I was focused like on 15 different strategies all at once, right? I was focused on, I think at the time I was doing like affiliate marketing, and then I was focused on sandwich lease options, and then I was focused on wholesaling, and then I was focused on rentals and flipping and all these different strategies. And I was running in 15 different directions, not going anywhere, right? And it wasn't until I took a step back and said, I need to focus. I read Gary Keller's book, The One Thing. And I said, man, wholesaling is my one thing. I just need to go all in on that. And we landed our first deal within 30 days. But that's the power of focus.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely the power of focus. The world tells you there's so many ways that you can make money. There's so many things that you can do. So you try to touch on everything, but you're absolutely right. I'm running around. I'm going fast, but I'm going nowhere. I'm going fast and nowhere. What were you about to say, Antonio?
My question was, in my area, and I'm sure it's in other areas also, people are always asking, is this a good time to get started with real estate investing? What would your answer be to those people?
I would say yes. And the reason for that is because there's never a bad time to get started in real estate investing. There's always going to be opportunity. There's a saying that the best time to get started in real estate was yesterday, right? And it couldn't be more true, right? Some people today are like, oh, the market, this, that, and the other. Listen, when I started in 2012, little did I know that was the hardest time to get started as a wholesaler, okay? Because in 2012, we were like 2 years after the crash that just devastated the country, right? We had lots of motivated sellers, but the issue was lenders were not lending to buyers. I mean, if you were going to buy a property, you had to have cash, like real cash in your bank to be able to move forward. So that got me really good at finding cash buyers. And, and I figured if I could make it through that time, then I could make it through any time. And so that's also something that has allowed me to have my wife and I to have such a long path in real estate, I feel like, is because we've been through some tough times like COVID, all that. And we've learned a lot from that. And if you're new and you're just getting started and you're listening to this and things kind of feel hard right now for whatever reason, keep going, because I promise you 10 years down the road, you're going to be very thankful that you put in that time, energy, and effort. Because, some people like, oh, well, like the market's different today. The deal, like, listen, 10 years ago, the prices today are going to be the same prices we could have had 10 years ago, right? So if you wait 10 years to get started, so it's perspective.
Perspective, absolutely. All right, I know you got some kids. How many kids do you have, Chris?
Yeah, so I have one. We just had our first one.
Really? I thought you had a bunch of kids.
No, bite your tongue. No, I have a 3-year-old. He just turned 3 this year, so we're very blessed. We're considering having a second one, but haven't made that call yet. But he's my world, and I love him.
Says the person who has 5. Do it.
Oh, you guys have 5?
We have 5 kids. Yeah.
Wow. My sister has 7. So you guys got your work cut out for yourself.
No, she has her work cut out.
Oh, yeah. She does, for sure.
You can go twice. If I go one, you go twice.
Really? Okay. How does that work?
In the simplest form, what is wholesaling? Let alone virtual wholesaling. Just what is wholesaling? What does that mean?
Yeah, sure. So wholesaling real estate is kind of like a matchmaking game. You're finding a motivated seller and you're matching them up with a motivated buyer and getting paid to do it. And you can do it from home anywhere in the country. So the virtual side just simply means you're not going out and meeting sellers or buyers. That's it. You're just doing the whole thing from home. Wholesaling almost has nothing to do with real estate, except it's the widget that we match people together with, right? Wholesaling real estate is a sales and marketing business. And if you focus on finding distressed houses at wholesale prices, so discounted, that's what we want. We want discounted property. We're looking to sell that property for a discount to somebody else who wants to buy it, right? And that's, we put them together and create the deals.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that wholesaling was a sales and marketing business. Most people, when they describe wholesaling, they say, "Oh, real estate investors." But I totally agree. You become great at sales and marketing because you got to get up off those properties to make some money.
Yeah, really? Totally.
That's why he's the best. That's why he's on here.
All right. I know you have a lot of things going on between your coaching community, between your family, between your own deals that you're doing. How do you manage your time?
Yeah, great question. So what it really comes down to is focusing on what makes money first, right? So, and this is something I share with my clients. I share it with my team every day before you start your working day. You put everything that you have to do, that you want to do, through a certain filter. Can this make me money here in the next 30 days? If it does, start with that. If it doesn't, then you can't do it until you've done something that makes you money. Outside of that, blocking off specific blocks of time is key for focus. Too many people try to focus on 10 different things all at once and they get nowhere, right? And so what I do is I block a specific period of time for a money producing task, and I don't let anything else interrupt me until I move on to the next thing. I actually remember when I was in corporate America, I used to be the person that ran all over the place and had no schedule or anything like that. No one taught me, you know? And it wasn't until one of my sales managers went on a ride along with me in my car, and he's like, "Chris, he's like, you're really good over here." He's like, "But you're all over the place, man." He's like, "You know what time blocking is?" And I'm like, "No, what's time blocking?" And he's like, "We're pulling over right now." He pulled me into a Starbucks. He took out my calendar, physical calendar, right? He laid it on the table, and he asked me for a Sharpie. I gave it to him, and he started just blocking off like big blocks of time on my calendar. And he's like, "This is time blocking." So he blocked off time for my cold calls, time for my door knocks, time blocks for appointments, time blocks for follow-up. And when he did that, I became one of the top sales reps in the country, just getting a handle on my time. And then I thought to myself, man, if this works well for my job, this is really going to help me crush it in my business. So that's when I did that. I applied that same philosophy. And I found that making money in wholesaling comes down to 3 things. It comes down to growing your buyers list, getting leads, so filling the pipeline with new opportunity every single day, and third, making offers and follow-up, right? So what I did is I took out my calendar at home, like schedule, and in the morning before I went into work, I would grow my cash buyers list. Facebook groups are a great way to do that. And I would answer replies from these people around lunchtime. So around lunchtime, I'd scarf down a sandwich, and then I would also make some calls, filling my pipeline with new leads, following up on previous conversations with sellers. And then when I would come home after the gym and after dinner, I would start hitting the phones and making calls. And that's the exact schedule that I use that got me out of my corporate job inside of 3 years.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
That's impressive, Chris. Like, that's impressive because you mentioned it earlier, but a lot of times people want success, but once they figure out what it really takes to be successful, they don't want it no more. Because if you tell people you're going to have to work before work, you're going to have to work on your lunch break, you're going to have to work once you get home, a lot of people start saying, I don't really want to be successful no more.
I need a break.
I don't want freedom. I don't want generational wealth. I just want to keep talking about it.
But man, more people are in love with the idea of success more than what it takes to become successful.
Absolutely. All right. So you're doing this while you're working. All right. How did you know like it was time to do real estate full time?
Yeah, great question. So a lot of people, there's a lot of different answers around this, right? Some people are more aggressive than I am. I'm more conservative when it comes to this, just because of what I went through, like growing up and everything. So when I made the decision to leave my job, I was like, I'm going to make sure that I have plenty of safeguards in place. So where it's like an ironclad plan for the most part, right? So my thing was I had to have, it's kind of like what Jim Rohn said. Jim Rohn said that, you know, you want to work your job until you have your income from your business equaling the same that you're making at your job. And then you work less at your job, go more into your business. And then once your income from your business exceeds that of your job, then you go full time, right? So that was kind of like my loose framework for getting started. But I also wanted another layer, right? So I wanted to be able to have a year's worth of income saved up in the bank in cash to where I could walk away and feel completely fine. Because what I didn't want is I didn't want desperation to come through on the phone, like needing the deal if we ever had a dry month, right? A lot of people are like, oh, do one deal and leave your job. You really don't want to do that because I did that. I left my job the first time. I actually did this twice. I left my job the first time and I had to go back. And you want to talk about a healthy dose of humility, that'll do it. So the second time that I left my job was the story I gave you guys earlier. And that's how I did it. And I haven't looked back since.
Oh, I love that. I love that. You're going to say
something? You're looking at me like I'm going to say something.
I thought you were. No. Okay. What do you feel like, Chris?
I was going to say something. I forgot. You threw me off with your question.
What do you feel like, before I forget my question, what do you feel like are some of the most common fears that people have before they get started? Like, what are the most common fears that they have?
Yeah. So some of the most common fears that people have are just the fear of picking up the phone. Number one, like I remember this client, Amber, that I was working with. She came to me and she like invested in coaches and education programs, and she had invested a lot, but she hadn't made a single call. And I dug into it. I was like, why? Like, what are you afraid of exactly? You know, and we kind of dug into it, and it came down to it that she was deathly afraid of the phone. Right. And then when I dug into why she was afraid of the phone, it came down to not wanting to give a commitment to a seller without having cash buyer, right? Like putting a deal into contract without knowing she had someone to buy it, right? She had this deep fear of like letting people down, you know? And so I was like, that's simple. Just find your buyer first. Find out what buyers want, grow a buyers list, find out what buyers want, do marketing for those types of properties, put them under contract and bring it to them. When you do that, wholesaling becomes so much easier. It was like a light switch. She's like, I can do that. Absolutely. You can do that. Right. And she landed her first deal within 60 days for like $26,000. Right. The majority of the fears that I find people have are around the unknown. People want to know what happens next. And to an extent, that's a good thing because everybody needs guidance. I didn't get where I am without guidance. You guys didn't get where you are without guidance.
Agreed.
But at some point, you have to understand that you know enough to take the next step, and that's all you need.
Absolutely.
That was gold. That was gold.
Really
all right.
good.
So you're virtual wholesaling all different states. How in the hell are you estimating repairs on these houses?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah.
Great question. So I actually came up with our own proprietary method where we don't estimate repairs in the traditional way that most people do. We use what's called my easy offer method. And how that method works is we make an offer as a flat percentage of the after repaired value, right? So I'll give you an overly simplified example, right?
Okay.
So imagine for a moment that you have a property that has an after repaired value of $100,000. So the property to get fully to sell in its best possible condition, $100,000, right? We would make an offer at $50,000 because in most states across the country, if you make an offer of $50,000 and let's say you sell that property for 65% of the after repaired value, that's going to be a deal pretty much anywhere you look, right?
Yes.
But there are certain states where that model, as far as that exact percentage, is not realistic. For example, like California, right?
Right.
So what we typically find is that range, like getting it under contract for 50% and selling for 65%, that works throughout the Midwest and the Sunbelt states. And then we have to slightly adjust the percentages for other states across the country. So I've put together an entire map of what the percentages are for every single state. So like I know that, my clients know that, but at the end of the day, like that's how we keep it simple. And this was born from when we grew from Heather and I doing the business to having a full team where deals go under contract and get sold without us being involved. The biggest issue we had was people coming in who had no experience with real estate, because remember, wholesaling is a sales and marketing business, teaching them how to estimate repairs virtually. That was a challenge. So I was like, man, I need to McDonald's this situation here, right? I need to make this simple because in reality, wholesaling is not a real estate business. It's sales and marketing. And so we shouldn't be calculating repairs individually because here's the thing that I've realized. Everybody's repair estimate's different. Does the guy do his own repairs? Does the guy have a GC? Does he sub out all of his stuff? Like you're going to get different numbers from everybody, right? Everywhere. And so we're not contractors and our buyers know it, right? So why estimate the repairs? So what we do is we know the percentages and we've tested these percentages across the country and they work really, really well. So we know what the percentages are to get a good deal. We know what to sell it at to where a buyer could take it down, get financed for it and get it and have it be a good deal for him too. And then if he ever wants us to know as far as like, hey, how much you estimate repairs? Hey, you got like everybody's repair number is different. What I'd suggest you take a look at the photos, you take a look at what we've shared with you about the property and just make the best decision for yourself. Right. And people appreciate that.
I love it. That was a nugget. That was a nugget. That was a nugget. All right. You got a question?
I did, but go ahead because I skipped your last question because you started to play. So you better hurry up because I have one.
Well,
just go.
All right.
I got to tell you guys, this has been one of the funnest podcasts that I've been on so far. You guys keep it working, and I love it.
We try to. All right. Do you have anything that you can give our listeners that they can learn a little bit more, maybe even take a little action? Any type of freebies that you have? I don't know if freebie is the right word.
Yeah,
I do actually. So I actually just put together something that's incredibly valuable. I haven't given it to anybody yet. Who knows? Maybe I was meant to just do it here.
That's
it. This group, baby. Let's go.
So the only people that are going to get this are people that are kind of like exclusive to your community.
Yes.
One of the biggest obstacles that I've seen that people struggle with when they're first getting going is how to fit in wholesaling with a 9-to-5 job, right? So we talked a little bit about my schedule as far as how I structured my time and everything like that. I actually have a 9-to-5 wholesaler's time blueprint that people can go through, do their own audit of their own time and get clear on what is the most important so they can start taking steps forward and getting on the path of their first deal. So Give me 1 second. I'll give you the phone number that they can text.
Okay.
Or you know what? I'm in the group. So would you prefer me giving a phone number so they can text and get it? Or do you want them to comment a keyword? I'm okay either way.
We'll do comment. We'll comment a keyword. We'll comment
Perfect.
virtual.
Yeah. So go ahead and comment.
I can spell that word.
Yes, they can.
Go ahead and you comment time. Time is cool. Comment time.
I can spell time.
Yeah, and
Virtual,
I'll hook you up.
Maybe not.
And I'll hook you up with the time blueprint.
I love it. Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I threw you off. What was your question?
Well, you kind of interfered with my question, honestly.
You stole her thunder.
If someone wanted to start virtual wholesaling, what do you feel like is the best way or the one thing that they should do to get started?
Yeah, great question. So the first thing that you want to do is take a look at the state that you're in, right? I usually recommend when people are getting started wholesaling virtually that they look at their home market first to see if it's a good fit and it fits our filter. And if it does, great, start there. But if it doesn't, you want to start looking in some other areas. So what I'll do is I'll kind of share with you what to look for in your home market. Does that work?
That works.
Perfect.
Awesome. So the first thing is you want to take a look at the local rules and regulations for wholesaling your area, right? Wholesaling has changed significantly over the last few years. Different states have rules and regulations, things you can and can't do across the country. And it's really important to get clear on what these are so you keep yourself out of hot water, right? You can do a quick Google search and find out what that is. You can connect with a local real estate attorney in your area. You can talk with your coach or mentor, but at the end of the day, you want to be clear on these things, right? The rules and regulations typically come down to 3 things. It usually comes down to if you have to be licensed, and then what you have to disclose to buyers or what you have to disclose to sellers.
Okay.
So once you have clarity on that, the second thing is you want to take a look at the median home price in your area, right? So the median home price, if you go on to Google and you just type in your county that you're looking to get started in the state, type in median home price, and that'll tell you. And what we're looking to do is we're looking to start in areas that have affordable housing. This is the type of environment that investors just love to buy in, right? And so we're looking for areas that have a median home price less than the nationwide median, and that's $360,000. So you're looking to start in areas that have a median home price less than $360,000. So the median home price is the most common type of home price. That's the most common type of home that's bought and sold. It's the house that everybody can afford, right? So you're starting there with that. And then once you have that, the next most important piece is local cash buyer activity. You want to make sure there's at least 10 to 15 cash sales in that area in the last 3 to 6 months. Very simple. You just go on Zillow, you type in your county, and you switch the little drop down to sold, and then enter cash in their keyword filter. It's just their additional menu they have on the side. Okay. And then you'll see cash purchases, and there needs to be at least 10 to 15 for that to be a good area to start.
Oh, that was game changing.
That was sweet. I ain't never did that before, Chris.
Yeah, I didn't even know Zillow even offered that feature.
Smart.
That was really good.
Yeah. So, and then the last piece is the population size. You want to be in an area that has a good enough runway for you to not to just be able to do one deal, but multiple deals, right? And so ideally you want the population size to be around 250,000. So 200 to 250,000. And if you have that and it matches all that other criteria, you're starting in a great area.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
That might be a mic dropper right there. That was game changing.
That little nugget can change everything.
I like keeping things simple.
That's right. That was simple. That was easy. I hope you guys jotted that down. That was simple. That was easy. Quick to get it done so that you don't have to say, well, I don't know enough. You know that much.
Know that much.
That.
Execute that. Then once you do that, come back and holler at Chris.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely.
Do you got anything coming up, Chris? Any classes coming up? Any events coming up?
Yeah. So one of the things that we just finished is our 3 leads in 3 days challenge. We actually finished that, I want to say 2 weeks ago in our Facebook group that we have. So we do have another one coming up in the next 60 days. So if anyone's listening and they'd like to get access to that, just find me on Facebook. My username is Chris Logan REI, and there's a link to my group. You can click that and join the group, and then just be there for the next challenge. And if anyone here is listening and you live in the Tampa Bay area, we also started a local meetup as well, and we post all that info in the group.
I have a student in Tampa.
Yeah.
So I need her to get to your meetup.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. I'd love to have her there. Absolutely. Yes. I'll get you all the info after we hop off.
There we go. That way we can send it over to her. That's one of their first steps, is finding a local meetup, and that will be perfect for her.
Absolutely.
I have 2 students in Tampa, Karen and Petty.
Oh, Karen, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Nice.
You guys, do you have any questions for Chris? Drop it in the chat if you have any questions for Chris regarding his journey, virtual wholesaling. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop it in the chat, and then I'll monitor it and see so that I can answer it. We'll have Chris to answer it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'd love to hear you guys' questions. Any questions you have based on anything we shared, or if you have any top takeaways, share like that in the chat. I'd love to hear what your biggest takeaways are.
Chris, what's next for you? What's next for Chris?
Yeah, so today I just finished up the Conversations That Close challenge with Batch Dialer. So we do those every 60 days. Batch Dialer is the service that I recommend to everybody who's looking to get started in cold calling, because it's like the most simple dialer to use, and it works really well. So I love that. Outside of that, we're going to be launching a podcast soon, so we're really excited about that. And yeah, just continuing to grow, to impact people, and continuing to serve people at the best level we can.
I love that.
All right, Miss Davis had a question, and she said, "What's the hottest 3 markets you're seeing right now?"
That's good. That's really good. So, I like to mainly focus on the Sunbelt territories in the Midwest. So Florida is definitely going to be, it's always going to be a hot market, right? Florida, Texas, and then Tennessee. I would say those 3 markets have been really good for us recently. So we have students consistently closing deals in those areas. We're consistently closing deals. So Florida, Texas, and Tennessee.
What part of Tennessee would you say?
Chattanooga is a really good place to start. Knoxville is also good in Tennessee. Memphis can be a little shaky. And then Nashville is a bit too competitive. So I would stay more so around kind of the Chattanooga area of Tennessee. Okay. And then in Texas has a lot of hot spots. I mean, Texas has, San Antonio. You got the outskirts of Harris County, where Katy, the city of Katy, that's really good. And then in Florida, Tampa Bay has gotten really, really hot. But if you're going to focus in Tampa Bay, Pasco County is probably the best for new wholesalers getting started, because you have a lot of really big people in inner city Tampa who are spending big bucks on marketing, and it's kind of tougher to get deals there if you're just getting started. But
what's Connie?
I love it. Connie's in Nashville. Yeah, he said
that's too competitive.
Nashville's tough to get deals. Yeah, it's tough to get deals, but Chattanooga is really good for deals.
So. Let's go. Any more questions that you got?
I don't see any more for now. I'm sure they'll come up later. All right. It's something about my inbox. My people love my inbox.
Because you talk to them all the time.
We'll have a whole training like this, and then I get 3 or 4 questions in my inbox, and I'm like, now why y'all just ask these questions when we was on the live? But they're my people.
Yeah, that's because we Antonio talks back to him in there.
I love it. Well, if anybody has any questions afterwards, feel free to post them there. I'll pop in and answer them as I go, and I'll get you that guide that I was sharing with you guys earlier, the 9 to 5 wholesalers time blueprint. So I've really enjoyed this. It's been a lot of fun, guys.
Love it.
I appreciate you bringing me into your community.
No problem,
We appreciate you for coming. Thank you, Chris. Have a great day. Love y'all.
Peace.
Bye, guys.